Hey buds, today love is in the air as we smoke two sweet romantic strains.
We cover news stories ranging from a drug drive-through in Dillon to some musical magical mushrooms.
In an interview with friend, fan of this cannabis, and musician, Pecos VoK.
All of this and more today on the Good Buds podcast.
Let's light some scented candles.
Welcome to the Good Buds podcast, the show where good buds smoke good buds and talk about them. I'm Curtis,
I'm Shenk.
and it is episode 24, airing Monday, February 15th, 2021, on Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Day after Valentine's Day. Thanks for joining us.
Before we start, I'd love to thank you for checking out Lumen Spot and My High Shop, our sponsors for this episode. Check out the links below in the description, and we'll talk more about that later. So, Curtis, how are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing fantastic and lovely on this wonderful day after Valentine's Day. I spent it as, most typical single guys would,
Oh, waiting for discount chocolate?
and jerking it.
Yeah, there you go. That's the wholesomeness for the episode out of the way, guys. No,
Exactly.
that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's pretty good, man. That's well, hey, it's another day, right?
Different things come for different people. But, on top of that, I've also been working on some new stuff for the podcast, some new things here and there. And like we've said before, we always got great stuff coming out for you. So stick around.
Working, grinding,
But,
grinding.
but Shank, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I had a wonderful Valentine's Day. Me and my other half, we don't really do the whole celebration of big holidays too much. Like, we don't emphasize them very much because, obviously, we're uh, we're more of a romantic any day of the week kind of couple.
Right, right. Yeah.
It's just kind of the way that we roll. So Valentine's Day was pretty much just another day for us. I did some work on the podcast and stuff, and did some running around, but for the most part, just enjoyed some time together.
Oh yeah, must be fucking nice, everything like that.
Well, you've always got me in our audience, Curtis. You've always
Enough.
got me, and you've always got me, our audience, and of course Isaac. So before we go on though any further, I would love, speaking of love, to remind our audience to check out Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we have some awesome behind the scenes stuff and really funny content. They can go there and like us, follow us, subscribe, whatever they need to do, and they can get notifications every time we pop up something neat. And if they jump on our Discord, we have some cool conversation going there where we check in daily. So links will be downstairs for all those beautiful people out there listening in the audience right now.
Absolutely. And if you like what we're doing and want to support the show, you can check out our Patreon page and donate there. We have several tiers you can choose from, including behind the scenes content exclusively for Patreon and the ability to listen in on our show live. The links are down below, and if you go there, you can join many, many of our fabulous, fabulous, lovely patrons, such as Isaac. God, we love that boy.
Yeah, I mean, we love that guy. Seriously, we need more Patreons though. I mean, if you guys feel the need to, if you, in the goodness of your heart, want to donate to the show, it would really help us out because everything that gets added to the show, every little bit that goes in, goes right back to the show to make it better. So we really appreciate all of you. So I think it'd be a great time, Curtis, to get on with the reviews. What do you think, brother?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Good Buds Review, Good Buds.
So, Curtis, what are you burning today?
Well, Shank, I have a strain very reminiscent. Let me take you back to middle school here real quick.
All right,
So
going back. Now we're talking sock hops
yeah,
and
so we have, you're in middle school, you're at the cafeteria, and across this cafeteria, you notice your crush. That girl you think she's just so gosh darn cute, and you're just like, I got my pack of sweet hearts that are made out of chalk and powdered beeswax and stuff, and I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna get
confectioner sugar.
exactly. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna give them to her, and it's gonna be a great Valentine's Day. And then you give it to her, and it's just like that moment right before. I don't know where I'm getting at, but what I'm smoking today is Orange Crush.
Nice, that's cool.
So what's more reminiscent of your crush than Orange Crush?
Yeah, that's very true.
It's completely wrong, but whatever. So
Hey, Whatever. It's got crush in the name. It works.
So what I'm smoking today is Orange Crush. Orange Crush is a very beautiful hybrid strain. It's indica dominant. Uh, as I've been picking up a lot more, this is made by Duber's Metro, or not made, grown, I should say. Very beautiful strain. They
They
always
put it
treat
together
me
in
very
their weed
nicely.
factory.
Uh, this is a cross
Sponsor
between
us, Dubers.
California Orange and Blueberry. For our growers out there, it's a relatively easy grow with a 7 to 9 week flowering process, so very easy for you. It's
Nice.
a more natural looking nug as opposed to what I have been getting. I've been getting a lot of the smoother ones, more trimmed out, but this is a lot more natural looking, a lot more fluent with its leaves. It's fluffy yet semi dense, so kind of crushable, but still nice, fluffy, and you still get a lot out of a little bit. The green in it is like a very light pear or lime green color. It I don't know, it's really hard to tell though, considering it looks almost neon green because of how much it's just a beautiful heavy coating of very coarse crystals on it. And they
Nice.
sparkle in the light just oh so beautifully, reflecting the light, refracting it, whatever. It makes it look neon green. Absolutely beautiful. Uh, and it also has a very courteous amount of, I would say, medium-sized orange hairs with a slight gradient effect on them, but they're like a nice brownish orange at the bottom, and they kind of flow to a little bit of a more of a brighter orange towards the tip. Very
Nice.
excellent.
Yeah.
As for the aroma of it, ooh, baby, it's got a solid earthy aroma with a slight pepper scent at the very beginning of it. It's kind of like a grassy field, and this is followed by a huge push of orange citrus scent. Uh, it's like a nice little punt, like a pam type of thing of orange
Yeah.
citrus. It's very beautiful, and it's even stronger when grinded up. That fruity smell just kind of lingers a little bit more. I really hope the flavor matches suit, and yeah, all in all, this is going to be a really nice strain. I'm going to
Sounds
love
like it.
this.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Shank,
Yeah.
I would love if you would tell me what it is you're going to be smoking on today.
Well, today I am going to be burning on something that kind of reminds me of, if I'm thinking of something that it reminds me of, it would be what people typically drink if they don't have a date on Valentine's Day, which is mimosas.
I, I
Um,
know a couple people who go out for brunch with their significant others. They'll go
oh,
get
there you
them
go.
some mimosa.
Yeah, brunch
It's
mimo. Well, brunch mimosas are a
it
good
just
idea.
the real dependency is the size of the mimosa.
That's true. That's true. If
It's
we're talking jug full,
if it's a jug,
then
single. If it's a
single.
little shot glass or a wine glass, then couple.
You're all
Fancy
right. You're all
brunch.
right. Yeah, but this one specifically is actually MMMOSA, MMMOSA, which is grown by FIGR. It's part of their their uplifting strains that they have. This one's a hybrid sativa, and the mimosa, actually, fun fact about it, is a cross between clementine and this might sound very familiar to you, Curtis, purple punch.
Purple Punch is very familiar because we smoked it on, or not specifically, I smoked it, episode 18 of our first season. Very nice.
That is correct.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It was an excellent strain.
It was a great episode too. So you guys, if you haven't checked it out yet at home, go check that one out. It's a really, really good one. But this strain, man, it's a beautiful looking strain. Overall, beautiful, tight, very, very tight, frost covered nugs. With like a close cropped coating of nice, beautiful orange hairs, like accenting the surface. It's not quite as thick and woolly as my last episode's weed was, but much tighter, closer to the surface orange hairs. It has a really nice, rich, deep forest green on the inside that probably would be the same on the outside were it not for the liberal coating of crystal that gives it kind of a like olive frosted glass kind of look, which
Right, right.
I love the look of personally. I'm a big, big fan. Now the smell though of this strain is where it really hits my heart because this strain, man, it's oh man, it's awesome. It's okay. So now it's clementine, Valencia orange, and some kind of basement.
Mm,
Yeah, not a bad basement though. Like we're talking like a nice like you're underground, like kind of cozy,
right.
comfortable,
Like a
but not like
like a finished
Yeah.
basement or a home studio or a wine cellar type of thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's like it nails that kind of vibe. Like that, and it has an overall what I would call an awesome scent that hits very hard with clementine and citrus notes. Like off the forefront, you get this very strong clementine and citrus like smell. Um, and it has a kind of subtle earthy smell almost, like a tart earthy smell that kind of lingers in the back and really rounds off the scent quite nicely. Personally, like yourself, I can't wait to try this out because if it tastes anything like it smells, it's going to be a great tasting strain. But before we do, as always, I would love, hey, dropping that word again, and to remind the folks at home to check out our Instagram if they want to see pictures of these buds that we will post on there at Good Buds Podcast on Instagram. Check it out. Follow us while you're there. Or you could be watching our awesome YouTube videos that Curtis edits, and like the pictures are right there. They're like floating behind
You
me
get to
right
see
now. It's
them
amazing.
as we're talking
You
about
can,
them. They're
yeah, as we're
amazing.
talking about them, it's beautiful, and the animation is like super cool. So check it out.
Plus, on top of
And
that, if you want to
yeah,
see me like while I'm editing them, while also taking a couple bong hoots, you can also follow me on Instagram, my personal channel at Goodbuds Curtis. I got a lot of good
yeah.
stuff going on over there.
Oh, he's got some wild bong hoots, and you can check me out if you want. I roll a bunch of blunts, and I post a bunch of pictures of me sitting around in my mask, trying to look as pretty as humanly possible at Good Buds Shenk on Instagram. Follow us both while you're there. Like we would love to have you there. It's a great way to interact with you guys, and it's a great way for you guys to interact with us. Like we would love it any way that you guys can reach out to us, or we can reach out to you without ending up on drama alert. We are all about it. So
Exactly.
that said, Curtis, I believe we should probably test these out. What do you think?
I have to agree 100%. And as always, I have a bong packed ready to go right here.
And I got a bong packed ready to go right here.
In which case, I think you all know what time it is. Buds, let's grab our lighters, raise them, lighters out, let's blaze it. Choke skibok.
Ooh. Oh my goodness, gumptions. Oh, Curtis, man, how's that treating you today, brother?
Oh, it is oxymoronic. Because it is a smoothly brutal hit. If that makes any
Nice.
sense.
It doesn't, but I'll let you have it.
Hear me out. So it has a very large terpene flavor on it because of the crystal. And I mean terpene as in that like very strong, like you can taste the chemical process of the weed in there.
It's
but
almost like hot without the heat.
yes, exactly. It's hot without the heat. On top of that, like I said, there was a little bit of peppery flavor in there, so the pepper kind of gets in there and gets the throat too. But before that pepper hits, you get a strong orange flavor. The slight pepper carries over, but it's strong orange at the beginning, and it kind of
Nice.
mellows out into this nice grassy field kind of aftertaste. It it does kind of taste like Orange Crush. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it tastes exactly like it, but it does kind of give me a
Reminiscent, yeah,
which
similar flavor.
the smell is kind of the same way. So overall, it's a very pleasant smell or smoke for me. I think it would be pleasant for other seasoned stoners like yourself or a couple of the people watching. But if you're a beginner stoner or you don't smoke all that often, I would avoid it at first just because it might be a little too harsh for you. But
Yeah,
I
take
think
small hits.
it's excellent. I'm going in for another hit. Shank, how's that MMMOSA treating you?
This MMMOSA definitely lives up to its name, man. It's really though it's strange because it's sweet, bitter, and earthy. It has a these really strong notes of orange and clementine, but it's got this really kind of strange tangy taste. Like it's like a tang that sits on your tongue after. Overall, it's an awesome flavor. Not nearly as sweet as the initial smell would, have made me thought it was going to be, but still tasty. The weirdest thing about it, though, and it's kind of strange, like I'm tasting it now, is that it has an almost weird fishy aftertaste that I'm kind of having a hard time wrapping my head around. Like
Like fishy
I
as in
think
like bad or fishy kind of like
no,
sushi?
like almost like a kind of sushi, kind of like a nice fresh good, not like a rotten like or a bad fish, like I mean, not like, and it's not even like a strong seafood smell. It almost reminds me of that the seagrass strain that I smoked back in season 1.
Right. Just like that
Like,
oceanic vibe, kind
yeah, that
of.
oceanic kind of feel, and it's got like an almost salty fish, like fish taste, like salmon almost, but not quite. And I enjoy it though. Frankly, not by any stretch do I want people to take that to mean that I don't enjoy the flavor, because overall, it's got a really, really, really great intake. Like the intake is smooth. The exhale is pretty smooth with a little bit of sharpness to it, and a little bit of acidity to the toke on the exhale. But all in all, it was fantastic. Personally, I think I'm gonna love smoking a joint of that. But before we do, Curtis, what does it say on the review sites?
Absolutely right, and I believe we have to get into that. But as always, these are the online opinions of other stoners online, and we are other stoners online giving our opinions to the online.
Opinions.
So for the Orange Crush, the general consensus is that it's a uplifting and strong cerebral effect. So very good to the head.
Nice.
As usual with most of these hybrid indicas, it's a euphoric, body high, kind of relaxing.
Yeah, they
Uh,
go for that.
Now, what's special about this one is it does have a good focusing feeling, like a good focus high essentially.
Hmm.
It's very good for getting stuff done. It you won't get it done good probably, but you can get it done. Like it'll
Yeah,
be slightly half-assed, but
yeah,
job's
yeah.
done. Let me
Take
relax.
about take about twice as long, but whatever, it's done.
Exactly. The other thing I'm seeing for it, other than the usual dry mouth, which is kind of apparent with all of these strains, there is a little bit of munchies on the downside, but seasoned stoners, like we said, we have bevs, we have snacks. We're always prepared here.
Prepared always.
What's it saying
Always.
about your strain, Shank?
Well, the MMMOSA strain actually has a lot of really good reviews. Basically, it's follows suit with the traditional sativas that I smoke, the sativa heavy strain. So it's happy, uplifting. Now, here's the weird thing: is it's energetic and relaxed. I always love when they have those two in the same strain, because it's kind of like, all right, so like I have all kinds of energy, but I'm just like kind of melted into my chair. So it's like, it's one of those
Oh yeah,
things where I feel like it'd be an awesome strain for essentially what people describe it as, is because it's also a focus tie. It's great for late night gaming sessions, which I could absolutely see that, because I could see me just sitting right here in my chair, like melted into my chair, while me, you, and Isaac like
yeah.
burn our way through some enemies.
That
Like
it sounds like
uh,
it's pretty much the same thing on my end. It's sounding like
yeah.
that kind of focused, but you're still uppity up. You're still ready, and you're still good to go. You just want to sit in one place to do it.
100% exactly. So it's and also, but it does also say that it is good for getting things done around the house too. So I guess I could get up and move around if I wanted to. I would just be nice and loose while I did it. Like I'd be walking like that guy that UFC fighter that flops his arms around. But overall, like, biggest thing, not recommended for bedtime because it is a high energy strain. And some of the people say that it is indeed a dry mouth causing strain. But as you said before, we are seasoned stoners. We are always prepared. We've got bevies nearby,
Yeah, bevies.
but
We got snacks, garlic powder.
we are 100% prepared. Now, I would absolutely love, love, love to try out smoking a joint of this, Curtis. I think. How about you?
I agree with that. I got mine rolled up and ready right here.
Yes, and I have mine rolled up and prepared right here as well, my friend.
And we are all set to go. But before that, one last time, I would like to remind you folks like, comment, share, and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, anywhere that you enjoy podcasts, social media, any type of viral content, anything you watch while you're sitting on the toilet. We're probably
Like
there.
we are like legit. Actually, as a matter of fact, we recently got on that new one, Curtis. What is it called? Cannabuzz.
Cannabuzz. Cannabuzz. So
Oh,
if you're
Cannabuzz.
if you're a fan of
Yeah.
just social media between stoners, you can find us on there. We're not fully active yet, but we want to be. Fucking let us
And
know.
frankly, I have no idea what it does, but we're on it. So
Exactly. It exists. We're on it.
it
Ex-
exists. We're on it.
except TikTok. Fuck TikTok.
I don't know, man. No, like we'll see how the week goes. I might start doing something.
Thousand subscribers on YouTube. We'll start a TikTok.
1,000 subs on YouTube. We'll start a TikTok.
Bam bam
But
shabam. But with all of
yeah,
that
bam,
being
bam,
said,
bam.
it is 4:20 somewhere. I think it is time, buds. We got lighters out. Light these joints. Cook
Yes,
those for
sir.
vote.
Oh, buddy, man. Holy crap, Curtis.
Ooh.
Dude, this is... Mmm. Wow, that flavor really, really, really changes.
Ooh.
It's got a leafy and earthy taste now, man. That's weird.
And mine is kind
But the orange is still
yeah.
there.
I'm getting not a lot of the orange, but I'm getting a lot more of that grassy, fieldy taste that I was saying.
Hmm.
Kind of like an earthy strain, almost like an earthy.
That's weird. It's almost like our strains have similar like flavor. I wish that we could just like pass joints between the webcams. Like someday we'll just like be able to like when
Like
we have our YouTube house, we'll be able to just like
Willy Wonka
pass the
or like
strains.
Willy Wonka with that pass your joint through the TV.
Oh, yeah, the Mike TV shit, man.
That would
like,
be
you know,
awesome.
like,
No,
dude,
that would be
yeah, because remember they blew the chocolate bar up to like giant size or whatever?
No, they
like they
had
took
to-
the chocolate bar and
no,
they
the
like
only problem is they had
no,
to
you know,
use
yeah,
like
they
we would have to use like what 8 pounds of marijuana to make one
well,
gram
no,
joint
no,
for you.
no, not at all. Because check it out, we would use modern TVs, right? Because the only reason they had to use a giant one is because it compressed it down into the old school television screen, right? So what
If
we
you have
would
a
do
50-inch TV,
is
then I would need less marijuana.
that's what I'm saying, man. Like I got a big old TV. Like I'm looking at a like at least a, right here. Like my backup TV is like a 46-inch, I think, right? So
I
like
mean,
it's
at minimum,
so
you'd be getting a 2-foot joint back.
that's what I'm saying, right? So you could roll one like this length, and I'm holding up the joint that I'm holding right now. You could roll one this length and like shoot it in right here, and it'd be like, and it'd come through like the size of my arm. Like
Right.
you'd reach out, you'd be able to club somebody to that joint. That'd be amazing.
That'd be fucking impressive.
My weapon
now
of
I
choice.
want to know.
If we have a
Now, sorry to cut
okay.
you off, but I really want to know
Go
what
ahead.
is the density of marijuana needed to literally club somebody to death? Like, how much weed would you need to pack into something and make it just the density of the weed itself?
Yeah, just with the cannabis, like compressing it down, like because well, technically you can because cannabis is like a loose solid, right? You can compress it down quite tightly, and it has resins in it that are like natural resins that harden like when exposed to air. So if you compress it like it down, yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting thing to know. And also,
hypothetically, it just depends on how much weed you can condense into as small of an area.
Yeah,
and
if
how
someone out
strong you
there,
can swing
yeah.
it.
Yeah, if someone out there listening right now is like a stoner mathematician and wants to like sit down and do the math and let us know, that'd be friggin' awesome.
I would like a stoner
I'd love it.
mathematician to do the math and a stoner bodybuilder to help us carry out experiment.
Oh my god,
With
yes.
watermelons.
Yes, please.
We
With watermelon, of course, watermelons. Or Isaac if he, if he acts up. But anyway, but on that note, like
Isaac,
as an
I swear to
addendum
God,
to
if
that.
you don't do this, we're smacking you with a sock full of weed.
That's right. But so anyway though, like on that note, specifically on that note, if any of our fans out there decide to do like a fan fiction of us in a zombie apocalypse or anything like that, my weapon of choice is absolutely going to be a club made of weed. Like Lucille from The Walking Dead. I never even watched The Walking Dead, but I know enough about
just a giant weed with fucking or a giant joints with fucking nails sticking.
Barbed wire wrapped around her. Just like literally, it's just a baseball bat made of weed with barbed wire wrapped around
If
it.
anybody wants my weapon of choice, it is going to be a bong that is going to have a sword blade sticking out of the top of it that will flop backwards so I can smoke the bong still.
But it will also have a shaker of salt taped to the side of it so that it is technically an assault weapon.
Don't talk shit about my assault weapons.
Yeah, don't talk shit about assault weapon. But but yeah, no, but no, seriously, that would be absolutely 100% lit. Like I would love like now I'm thinking about like, because we right now actually we have an art commission in progress right now. Isaac, our third Bud Katir, has his other half, his significant other, we commissioned artwork from her that we're going to be posting pretty soon for you guys, and I think you guys will love it. We're excited for
It'll
it.
be on our Facebook, so we're also going to post it to probably our Instagram and our Reddit. So check us out, fucking.
Yeah,
we'll let you know.
And we very much appreciate that too. And but like, yeah, it's one of those things where like fan art, I 100%, and like, but I might have to commission that as a picture. I need to make commission like somebody who does like post-apocalyptic like art to do us like me and you and Mad Max style, me holding baseball bat made of weed and you holding a fucking bong with a blade attached to it and a salt shaker on it, like but done in like good like hyper realistic noir style or something. That'd be so cool. Oh man,
Fucking,
we'll get it.
I, rem-
I'm gonna get that
I
done.
remember when I was in high school, fucking one of my specialties was drawing Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network style cartoon characters in a zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse and just what would be happening. So my most famous one was SpongeBob flying through the air with a giant battle axe heading towards Patrick, who was already turned into a zombie.
That's intense,
I also
man.
had Hey Arnold and Sandy Cheeks trying to, combat a zombie horde. Cat Dog getting ripped in half by a zombie
Oh my
horde.
god.
I'll, but you know what? Check out my
That's
personal
fucking
Instagram. I
spectacular.
still have these pictures, and I'll post them to my personal Instagram if you guys want to check them.
Yes. Yes. I am personally going to, on my own account, love every one of them. I'm gonna heart every single one of those pictures. I guarantee it. I used to do what I used to do back in the day when I was doodling is I would do stick figures. So like
Oh yeah,
stickdeath.com. Anybody out there
yeah.
remember that? I'm
Of
sure you
course, of
remember that.
course.
Um R.I.P. Flash, man. R.I.P. Flash. Oh, it hurts. But anyway, so I digress. I used to do what I called like keyframe stickman pictures. So I would take a whole page of like something and I would draw like a landscape on it or something, right? Like a city or a
Right, right.
landscape. And then I would draw a stickman essentially one like dot by dot by dot by dot. So almost like a dotted line moving through the picture. So it's like frame by frame, like
Yeah,
each individual like
right.
one is the same guy, but I'd have other dudes in like different colored pen or different colored pencil or whatever in different parts of the map that he'd like go through and like decapitate with a sword, or he'd
Right,
like
right.
throw a knife and like get one in the face, or like something cool like that, like do a
Oh
backflip and
yeah.
like throw an axe like a friggin'
Fucking love
like
that.
a Soviet
Love that shit.
like a Soviet
And I
machine.
used to do the same thing when I was in a band class, fucking with our sheet music that we were all done with. Fucking,
That's the best
I
thing
would
for
literally
it.
just have them run across the bars and then swing down, swing onto the notes, kill somebody else, break through another bar where there's actually like
Yeah,
a
like
rest, jump on the one below, do flips and shit all the way
yeah.
down.
And you draw like three frames of like you draw one like kicking the other one in the stomach, and then the next frame it's like the one folded in half with the foot flying, and you just do the
I
next
rem-
frame with them flying off.
I
And
remember in
oh, it's so
one
cool.
I had a guy like kick a guy down one measure and he was going to be down on like the next line down, and the guy like went all the way around the bar like normally, came back around and then used that guy as a fucking projectile later down
Oh,
in
nice
it.
fourth wall break.
It
Nice. I love it. I love it. That's fantastic,
was
man.
I love
And
doing it.
yeah, like I know it's so fun, right? And it's one of those things that like it's just like I know a lot of people that did that kind of thing, and personally, I love doing it. And it's so funny because I remember one time one of my teachers had seen it. Like one of my teachers had seen it, and it was my art teacher. And she was like, "Oh, can we have a conversation about like it?" Because they were bloody. Like I would have like violent like
Yeah.
they would be shooting each other and everything. This was right around the time like Matrix was big and everything, right? So like
Well, not
essentially
only
like she was kind of
Matrix,
like
but
other things that other things that are much less pleasant than the Matrix were
Columbine.
fairly popular. Yeah. Like, and so basically, yeah, she was like, "Oh, can we have a conversation?" And I was like, "Sure," right? And I was glad it was her, because if it was any other teacher, they'd probably fucking flip out or
Oh yeah.
whatever. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm just going to report it right away." But she was like, "Can we have a conversation?" And she like sat me down. She's like, like, "Is there a reason why you're drawing that art?" And I was like, "Yeah, because it's cool." And she's like, "Well, do you like feel like violent or lashing out or anything?" I was like, "No."
If
I was
any
like, "I love my
yeah.
life." I was like, "I love
Yeah.
my life."
If
I was like,
anything,
"This is
if
awesome."
anything, I'm getting out that anger and frustration onto the artwork so I don't have to experience that kind of thought
Yeah,
process
yeah,
in real life. When I can just
exactly. I was
nonchalantly
like,
put it on a
like,
page, I don't have to think about it in real life. Like,
yeah, and she's like, "Are you depressed?" I was like, "Well, everybody has bad days," but I was like, my life is awesome. Like,
right,
I've always felt this way. It's like my life is like, it's I have ups and downs, but I never let a bad moment become a bad day ever. So it's one of those things where, like, like I've had a lot of bad moments, I've had a lot of ups and downs, but I love my life. Like so, like if anybody asks me, they're like, "Oh, like like." It's like, do you want to like hurt other people or blah, blah, blah? I'm like, no, like I love people, man. Like, it's just like
right.
you don't need to be religious to love your neighbor, man. Just do it because they're your neighbor, like do
Who
it
the fuck is
because you're both
begging?
in the same boat.
Right.
Yeah, do it because you're both in the same boat, man. Like we're all on the same planet. Just be nice. It's not fucking hard. I mean, it actually takes more effort for me to not be nice to people. Like, I have to kind of go out of my way to be a dick, you know? So it's like, so I'm just like,
To be
what?
fair, you're
What would be the
completely
point?
honest. Like you really have
I know.
like it seems like you have to go out of your way to cause way more trouble and know the circumstances of what you're getting into to purposely
I
be a
know.
dick. For what
You got to go
reason?
out of your way to be a dick. And that's what I always say. Like, it's like my mother, I think it was my mother who told me when I was a kid, like I was way young. She said, hate takes energy. And in any given day, you only have so much energy. But not caring about something, not thinking about it, doesn't take any energy. So if you have the choice between hating something or just not like thinking about it or doing something to resolve it, then
Don't care.
either way you're fine. Either way you're cool. It's not going to affect you. It's not going to impact you. You fix it. You don't care about it or you waste your energy on hating it. And it's like it's an easy fucking choice, man. You just pick the easier one.
Like, if you're
Don't
gonna and
like
even then, if you're gonna
yeah.
waste your energy, you might as well fucking do something to try to resolve it to make
Yeah,
it
waste it in
better
a
for
positive
what
way. Yeah.
make it for the better.
Yeah, waste it in a positive way. You like waste your energy in a positive way. Like that's what I try to do. It's like that's why we do this podcast, man. I'm wasting my energy in a positive way. Like I could be fucking sitting down right now doing jack squat, spending the same amount of energy and like not getting anything done or having as much fun, but I get to come on here, talk to you, engage with our audience, talk to our amazing audience that we've got. These people that
Exactly.
tune in every week for our show,
Or
like
they're just
blows my
or they're
mind.
just catching us for the first time. In which case, how you doing,
That
folks?
too,
What's
or
up?
people, yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. It's this is the general format of the show for this
We
season, and I hope you guys
we
like it.
smoke a bunch of weed and then we sit here and talk about how this is some good fucking weed, by the way.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I'm really enjoying this, and the orange is coming out a lot more as it's resining up. Just pointing that out right now. The flavor of the orange is coming out
Oh
more as the
shit, we got
resin
high
kicks
and
in a bit more.
completely forgot to mention. Shank, what kind of paper are you burning out of today?
Oh, brother, today I am smoking out of what is called Canadian Lumber the Hippie. It's a pre-rolled cone that I got from the store when I was in there today. I've smoked out of these before, but every time I see them, they come in like a flannel case. I'm gonna send a picture to Curtis so that he can insert it in the episode, unless he already has one. Just to show what the package looks like,
Right.
because it's hilarious and amazing. But yeah, it's a pre-rolled cone. I just felt like packing one up tonight and having a nice big old shwoody for the episode.
Ooh.
How about you, Curtis? What are you burning at it today,
Well,
man?
Shank, I went with a classic, and since you told me that you were smoking out of a cone pre-rolled, I figured I would join suit. I have decided to go with a raw pre-rolled cone. So
Nice.
right here, I believe these are the larger ones. But
Yeah, 1 1/4
yeah,
or full length.
yeah, the full length ones. Uh,
Nice, man.
but very
I
nice.
like raw. Raw burns good. Has a really nice flavor to it.
Exactly. Should be made in Indonesia.
Indonesia. Actually, a lot of papers are made in Indonesia.
They got a lot of rice over there. Rice papers.
Yeah, mine. Do you know where mine are
Where's
made?
that?
Halifax, Nova Scotia,
Oh,
Canada.
that makes sense. Oh,
It's
and I almost forgot to mention as well. Even though this is the day after Valentine's Day, I also have to say, Shank, happy Nova Scotia Heritage Day.
Oh,
Because
thank
that is
you. I
today.
appreciate
That is
that.
today.
That is
Look at a calendar,
that
because
is
that is
this
today.
day. That is the
February
day that today
February
is.
15th.
The 15th of
Nova
February.
Scotia Heritage Appreciation Day.
It's very true, and honestly, it's really cool because Heritage Day is actually something that we kind of do take fairly seriously in Nova Scotia. Like, we like, like we're it's so funny because the rest of Canada kind of looks at Nova Scotia and the Maritimes as a bit of a black sheep of the country. Like, we're not as industrialized, we're not as like fast paced, we're not as like, like
Yeah, but you're not
just like
Quebec.
up in our own asses. No, yeah, that's exactly it. I just literally I was saying up in our own asses as you said Quebec, and I feel like that's a fitting. I mean, I love Quebec, but and I love all of Canada. Everywhere in Canada has something beautiful about it, in my opinion. Our country is fucking awesome. Our government, though slightly disorganized and it has its problems, are frankly one of the better fucking governments in the world. So I love
Oh
it.
yeah.
But the Maritimes and Halifax, like Nova Scotia in general, like the people here are your family. You come here, people will hold the door for you. They'll say hi to you when you're walking down the road. They'll give you a nod. They'll at least like acknowledge your existence and acknowledge your humanity. And it's such a nice thing, man, because I've been in places where it's too fast paced for that. people are too busy with their own lives, and I get it. Like it's not a bad thing to get through to the day. Like it's not. However you got to do it, do it. But like in places like I've been in Toronto, and everything else, and it's way too fast paced. It's just really quick. But in Nova Scotia, man, it's nice and slow paced here. Things might be a little bit backwards. Things might be a little bit slow to progress, but things happen in Nova Scotia too, and actually that leads us into something I think we should talk about more in a different segment. Curtis, what do you think?
You got okay. Well, before we get to that, we have to run an ad real quick. So, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen, listen to this.
do you like fashionable and unique clothing? Do you like things that shine super bright when exposed to light? Do you like discounts? Do you like advertisements that ask, do you like, over and over, knowing there is no direct way for you to answer back? If you answered yes to all of these questions, or even just the first three, check out lumenspot.com for some lit clothing and accessories, and use the code GoodBudsPodcast at the checkout for 50% off and free shipping. Thank you, Lumenspot, for sponsoring us, and thank all of you for listening. Check it out today with the link below in the description.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful product we got there, and I hope you guys check that out. But I think you guys all know what time it is for, the moment you've been waiting for. It is time for some weed news worldwide.
So, Curtis, for today's first story, we have something from my own backyard. This is actually kind of interesting. I found a story here a little bit back, not too long ago, about Nova Scotia and an interesting bust that happened here.
Ooh.
So essentially, what happened is there's a place called Bible Hill, which is very close to like Truro slash Halifax. It's complicated. It's in Nova Scotia though, very close to here.
Around you.
Within 45-minute drive or about an hour drive. And so two men got arrested in Bible Hill because they were running an unlicensed online cannabis store.
Ooh.
So that's right. They said they were selling weed online, the most trackable way possible, like
Right.
ever, illegally. Like there's, like it's like they didn't have a license, and you need to have a license to operate an online dispensary. Online dispensaries are illegal. Keep in mind, I can order cannabis off the internet and have it delivered to me. Perfectly legal. No problem. But unlicensed ones, not so much. So these guys got nailed. And the RCMP, being very proud of the amount of taxpayer money they spent on this investigation and bust for, essentially what amounts to a couple, like a bunch of edibles, a butt ton of weed, like some waxes, some that kind of thing, right? There's so just a bunch of cannabis products and a bunch of cash they seized. But frankly, looking at the table, the most dangerous thing on the table is the laptop and the table itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everything it like there's nothing dangerous on that table whatsoever. There's no firearms. There were no firearms seized. Like there's just cannabis. That's it. And it really bothers me that they spent a butt ton of taxpayer money probably like investigating this and like pursuing
It
this
does. Yeah.
when they could have potentially made more income revenue in Nova Scotia by assisting this company, like shut them down temporarily with like health regulations instead of police proceedings,
Right.
and then help them get a license so that they can become a licensed online retailer.
Absolutely.
And like help Canadian businesses grow. But no, let's throw Canadian business people. They were trying a legitimate business,
sure.
illegitimate.
But I mean, there is obviously the aspects of, if you are in a legal country, why go through the illegal methods to go through that process? Kind of dumb, but at the same time,
no, it's true. No, it's true.
At the same time, if
like,
you are an up and comer and you're trying, you have to make money in order to get that license. So obviously, they're trying what they can, make their license, make their fees, and hopefully grow into something legitimate. But obviously, like you said,
they went about it. They went about it a bit backwards.
It would be way better if they got tax-paid assistance as opposed to police paid,
now these people are going to have like permanent records based on this. They're going to have charges. The charges are following, and they're facing the following charges: distribution of cannabis, possession for the purpose of distributing cannabis, unlawfully selling cannabis, and unauthorized possession of cannabis for the purpose of selling it. So basically, with these charges, because cannabis is legal in Nova Scotia, one of the things that a lot of people didn't talk about when it became legal is that doing things with it illegally became more illegal once it was
Oh yeah.
legalized. Once the government gained control of cannabis, basically they made it so that if you are selling it illegally, there is a substantially worse charge now because the law, like, because they're selling it
It's
legally.
this,
If you're selling it illegally, you're getting like a double charge for what you used to get when it was
I mean,
illegal.
before all the corruption and everything like that, it was the same thing with prohibition with alcohol in
Yep.
America, and the same thing with fucking tobacco. Now because it's a lot more harsher than it was way back then, obviously. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's same thing, and it's and
And
it's
and I firmly believe that there should be regulations though.
so
Like
regulations should be in
it's good.
place to help with that, and also regulations put in place to help people get that ease of convenience of an
Yeah.
online shipping of
Like it
marijuana.
should be, yeah, if you want to start a business in Canada and you got the money, you should be able to apply for it, right?
Exactly.
And get that ease of
But
shipping,
like I
right?
said, the convenience is another aspect that really should help, Canadians. But I do
Mm.
have a news story that kind of relates to that in terms of convenience.
Oh, awesome. Well, before you get to that, I want to remind people that this article came from the Chronicle Herald. There will be a link below in the description for you. But what's your story, Chris? Or that reminds you
My
of?
story comes from 9news.com. Again, links down below. And in terms of convenience, a marijuana drive-up window sparks a heated debate in Dillon, Colorado.
They got a weed drive
They
through.
are attempting to pass ordinance in the town
Man,
council that would allow licensed marijuana stores to sell their product through walk-up or drive-up windows.
hold up, I can just see it now. You'd be walking in like,
Yeah.
"Welcome to McLean's. Can I take
That'd be interesting as hell. So,
That'd be so great, man.
so yeah, the Dillon Town Council is poised to adopt a new ordinance that would allow licensed marijuana stores to sell their products through walk-up or drive-up windows. A new option allowed
Cool.
this year due to changes in the Colorado Department of Revenue's Marijuana Enforcement Division's regulation. Obviously, with Corona.
Walk up windows, I 100% get behind because if people are outside and they can maintain social distancing, that makes it fantastic. There's no enclosed space for anybody but the
Absolutely.
employee. The employee is in there, they're safe, they're
Yes,
enclosed. I'm
absolutely.
sure
Uh,
bulletproof glass, right? Like, and then the customer is like safe. They don't have to interact with the cashier and they can
So
distance.
no official vote has taken place yet, but the council has decided to push forward with an ordinance at a future meeting despite a contentious debate that clearly divided council members on the issue. But in specifically, council members Renee Amaro, Karen Kaminsky, and Stephen Milroy all opposed the idea and asked that either new language be added to the code to prohibit the windows or to be put in place on development applications until more research can be done on the Windows' potential impacts on the community. Essentially, random bullshit. Um, I've
Okay,
here's
so what they're saying is that they want to see what they want to do a study to see what kind of potential slippery slope there may be imaginary, like a hypothetical. They want to see what hypotheticals they can come up with to argue against it. So they're saying they're
exactly
they're denying
now.
it so they can buy time
Now
to find problems with
another
it.
reasoning is obviously they don't want every single store specifically being built with drive-throughs just for the sake of marijuana, which I can
Oh, who
I
wants
can
extra COVID safe
I
measures?
can kind of see that, but at the same time, there's also the issue of places that already exist that just build drive-through windows and stuff like that. Again, not a
Yeah.
huge issue.
Well,
It's all up to the business
yeah.
and up to their landlords and shit like that. So
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't see a business that's like in a like already set location being like, yeah, let's put a drive-through in. They'll probably just be like, all right, let's operate business as usual. Like, whatever, we don't need a drive-through. But some businesses might go, we
exactly.
want a drive-through,
Now,
and that'll be great for customers who want that
now
option.
allow
I
me
would love
to
that.
introduce something that's actually extremely special and has already been introduced specifically here in
Oh,
Michigan. Uh,
oh
the
yeah,
magic of pull up. Uh, Specifically, this was a recreational marijuana dispensary up north of in Michigan along I-75, and
mm-hmm,
we literally pulled off. I believe it was in Pinconning, Michigan. And
cool. Pinconning, shout out Pinconning.
Pinconning, awesome cheese factory there. If you want to pull up, it's
Oh
literally
hell
right
yeah,
across the street from the cheese factory. So you go, you get weed, and you go across. But
Pinconning
anyway,
cheese.
to digress. So You literally pull up, honk your horn, a lady comes out, tells you what strains they have, and you tell her how much you want. You give her money, she runs back in, she comes back out with a paper bag, gives you the bag, and says, "Have a good day." You open up the bag, and it's full of the amount of marijuana that you wanted. Surprise.
You know
It's
what? I
already
can
a
just, you
working
know what?
system.
For some reason, when you described that to me, I pictured it like a 19, like, okay, you know the Flintstones intro
Yeah,
where they roll up to that
yeah.
diner? Okay, so basically like
Essentially
that roll
that,
up,
but
like
with
roll up to that
weed.
diner, like or she comes out on roller skates and but like that with weed, man. And that's frankly, I think that's
But it's
amazing.
amazing, and since that can already be done, why not just step up the convenience with an added drive-through window or something like that? Even if the marijuana business goes out, bam, you already have a perfect spot for a Burger King or a Subway or a McDonald's.
I know 100%. It makes obvious sense, right? Like just get the drive-throughs, right?
Exactly. So I think that's an awesome story, and again, that's on 9news.com if you want to follow that. Links are down below.
And for our next story, it doesn't directly relate to cannabis per se, but it is something that relates to a very close cousin in the psychedelic category.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is the psychedelic psilocybin, a little bit of some mushroom conversation we're having here with a new John Hopkins study.
Ooh. So, see,
Yeah,
we're not a huge fan of all the drugs ourselves, but we'll still tell the tales for the people who are
yeah.
interested. Mushrooms.
And frankly, I've never done shrooms and not enjoyed myself. So power to you. Just be careful. It's a toxin, so just
Like,
be
as we always
cautious.
say,
Moderation.
moderation. But,
Duh.
Shenk,
Yeah.
continue on.
But anyway, I digress. This essentially is experimenting, and I love it because it touches my soul. It's the best music playlists for psychedelic therapy
Ooh.
have been explored in a new John Hopkins study. This is from Marijuana Moment, I believe, and this is really interesting because psychedelic therapy sessions where they basically get people to take shrooms and chill out, right? Like it's good for PTSD, it's good for like anxiety disorders, it's good for lots of different things so far they're finding. Like, like microdoses of psilocybin and just chillaxing with some music playing. It's really like they always incorporate music. Or more often they most often incorporate music, right?
Right.
But usually the shit that they're playing is classical, right? Which is amazing. I love classical music. You love classical music. We all do. Like, who doesn't love a little bit of
Right.
or the good old Stars and Stripes done in a nice orchestra? But it's interesting because they did a study where they basically tested to see if Bach, Chopin, Mozart, whether they were special value, whether classical music had a special value to it, or
I mean, of course it
whether
does,
a
but
gong, yeah, well, yeah, of course, or whether a gong would work just as well, if not better, which is what the study found.
oh, just
Yeah,
gong.
so yeah, just
See, I wanted to get
gong,
one for my room
gong,
anyway for when I start raging in video games, because rather than breaking a controller or smashing something, just grab
gong.
that hammer and just whip that shit.
Dude, get yourself a nice like 1 meter gong, man. Those things are like so friggin' big, and you just hit it with a mallet that's the size of my head, and you're like the mallet itself makes like a whoomp sound, and it takes this like
Boom.
it's like
I know.
it's
I
really
want
really
to be
cool.
able to summon an ancient dragon with that shit. But I
That's what I'm
digress.
saying. That's what I'm saying, right? But I also digress. Western classical music has long been assumed to be the standard in psychedelic therapy, researchers wrote in the study that was published on Tuesday in the American Chemical Society. Um, Basically, what they said, the present data that they've got challenges this notion that Western classical music, or for that matter, any specific genre, is intrinsically superior form of music to support psychedelic therapy for at least for all people. So basically what they're saying is that you cannot say with any they used to say with some definitive aspect to it that classical music was the best one to use, right?
Right.
And they would say, when they were training people, they would say if you're doing this therapy, use classical, and they said it was the best for it, right? And what
Right,
they're
right.
finding now is that they found no significant differences between two musical genres that were studied. They studied two different musical genres. One of them was classical music, and the other one was overtone based music, which had things like gongs, Tibetan singing bowls, the didgeridoo, like that kind of thing, like the
Always,
kind of.
always gotta get that throat
Yeah,
singing in
yeah,
there.
but like that
Uh,
kind of shit, right? Like, and they would do that, and it's like they found out that doesn't matter. Like it's all on an individual basis, like person to person, and at least with the sample portion of people that they got, it didn't make a substantial difference whether it was like classical music, heavy metal music, rock music, whatever. It was more so
nice.
something that personally calmed the person down, like resonated with the person. And but they said that the gongs and the singing bowls and that kind of thing, that test group did substantially better than the group with classical music. So they found data points
I
contrary to the
think
popular thing. Not
I
substantially,
will
but
say I will say from my understanding of music theory, fucking it would make sense considering the classical music obviously is tailor made by man to make you feel a certain
true.
emotion. As for the natural, didgeridoo, the Tibetan bowls and everything like that is more of a natural sound that's already in and of itself
Yeah,
interesting
it's
enough
a
to make
resonance. Yeah, it's a
music,
resonance.
let alone, the fact that it's very spiritual in and of
Yeah.
itself in the way that they're made, prepared, played,
Yeah,
and stuff
it's
like
less
that.
human. It feels more kind of like natural and like flowy, and I agree with that. And that's probably one of the things about the study that they figured out was that overtone based
Right.
music,
That
yeah,
would
works
that
better.
would probably bring you more to a natural state, which with obviously a natural substance like magic mushrooms, that would be interesting. Whereas opposed to the classical would probably be better if you were on LSD, a man-made subject substance, listening to man-made music.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um,
But then again, that's also where you go to raves.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, and 100% like flashing lights. Insert flashing lights here. No,
No,
not gonna happen.
no, I'm
No
actually not
flashing
gonna do
lights.
that
No,
because
no
of
flashing lights. We're not gonna do that on this. But anyway, what they were saying, this is the fun fact that I really wanted to get to, the ultimate thing to it. They actually have some playlists on Spotify, I believe, and other music streaming platforms, called the John Hopkins psilocybin study. So if you go there and you look it up, um, like you'll basically find this playlist that they've
a
compiled
collection.
of songs that are perfect for tripping on shrooms. So if you feel like taking this for shrooms, not that I'm telling you to take shrooms if they're illegal where you live.
Or if you just want to listen to these songs while you're smoking weed or just to chill while you're on your
Yeah,
way to
big
work,
vibes, folks, big vibes. And I mean like it's one of the, yeah.
they'll be on there.
So that playlist is on there and there will be a link to this. Like I said, it is interesting to say the least. It's not cannabis related, but I just kind of had to cover it a little bit for you folks and let you buds know about
Of
it.
course.
And sorry, that's on
But that's
marijuanamoment.net, I believe. The link will be down below
fair
in
enough.
the description.
Absolutely. And for our final story of the evening, I'm it's very, very what the
Uh, what's up?
fucking an advertisement just started playing on my
Uh-huh.
thing for some reason. Sorry. And in our final story of the evening, it's unfortunately looking like a slightly sad one here.
Hmm.
So, this story comes to us from WGNTV.com, and the news is that Jamaica is running low on marijuana. That is right. Jamaica is running low on
Oh
ganja.
my god, that's wild, man.
So, as of right now, Jamaica has currently been faced with some heavy raids following an extended drought,
Ooh.
which has, and
Wash out
then
your
with
plants.
everyone being exactly. So everything's been super dry, super arid, very hard to grow stuff, and then finally a heavy rainflow comes in and washes away whatever was there, oversaturates the soil, kind of makes it very hard to,
That
you
sucks.
know,
That
grow
sucks.
anything. Um and on top of this, an increase in local consumption has and a drop in marijuana farmers due to coronavirus and people staying at home and not, you know, doing their usual
Well,
duties
yeah,
has caused
everybody knows
it has
Rona's
caused
making people smoke
yeah,
more weed everywhere, right?
Exactly. So people are staying inside, more or less marijuana farmers are going to work, and this has caused a huge shortage on the island. Uh, the island's famed but largely illegal market that experts say is the worst they've ever
Oh
seen.
my God. Hashtag send Jamaica weed.
Exactly. Now, Jamaica, which everybody has long associated with pot, reggae, Rastafarians, everything else,
Rastafari.
uh, they authorized a regulated medical marijuana industry and decriminalized small amounts of weed in
Hmm.
2015. People caught with 2 ounces or less of cannabis are supposed to pay a small fine, face no arrest, no criminal record, any shit like
Yeah.
that. Uh, Island also allows individuals to cultivate up to 5 plants, and Rastafarians are legally allowed to smoke ganja for sacramental purposes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you're a Rastafarian, you can. It's legal. It's because it's religious, right? It's a religious ceremony. You're
Of course,
Rastafari. You're one with the earth, right?
exactly.
Like it.
But
Yeah. Like
from
that
last,
sucks,
but
man. They're
last
running out of
year,
weed. Fuck.
yeah, last year, heavy rains from their hurricane season pummeled marijuana fields to make them very bad. Then a scorch from the drought, and
Yeah. Well, I
then
was gonna
a
say
whole
that would
bunch
like
of
bake the earth
fucking
underneath the plants, and then the water would wash it out. Oh.
yes, and then yeah, so a heavy rainfall first, then a drought, and then another heavy rainfall. Obviously, the COVID-19, so people are just sitting at home smoking it, and
The people who are supposed to be
with all
growing it are
that,
sitting at home smoking it too.
exactly.
That sucks.
And then to worsen it, strict COVID-19 measures, including a 6 p.m. curfew, that meant farmers couldn't tend to their fields at night, as is routine.
Which means that thieves could
Uh,
probably go in and steal a bunch of shit.
well, no, they could switch out for that, but they can't do their normal amount of maintenance that, you
Yeah,
know,
upkeep. Yeah.
uh,
Well,
for
you need
example,
to.
Kendrick Wallace, who cultivates 2 acres, fucking, who's accompanied with the help of 20 other farmers, he can't put another 20 farmers on night shift. Those 20 farmers were supposed to work up until a certain point.
Oh shit, yeah, so they all have to stop at 6 p.m., like curfew 6 p.m. or whatever, so they gotta
Yeah.
like that's
So,
rough. That's really rough.
exactly. Plus, he also noted that a lack of roads forces many farmers to walk to reach their fields and then to get water from wells and springs. Many weren't able to do this due to night curfew.
Well, yeah, because if you've got only
So,
so many hours in a day and you gotta walk,
you can't spend
yeah,
it. Yeah, you can't spend it going
yeah,
back
if it
forth,
takes
back
you
forth.
an hour and a half total to walk to the well and back to your place with all of your shit, like, with your jugs of water or whatever, like, man, like, you're boned.
So,
Like, especially during a drought.
Wallace and yep, exactly. So Wallace in particular estimated that he's lost more than $18,000 American in recent months and cultivated only 300 pounds of pot compared to an average of 700 to 800 pounds of pot that he normally produces.
Wow.
So, and then
Man.
obviously there's significant more farmers and other people
Well,
like him,
oh, I'm sure
cultivators
everybody's
who
hit hard,
are
man.
obviously following suit. So,
Yeah, no, I'm sure. And
exact,
Nova Scotia went through like a strawberry thing here a few years ago where our strawberry fields got like had a bit of a drought and got fucked over. And for like an entire season, like it's people were freaking out, man. Like it was crazy. It was wild. Like, and it's probably like that down there. And I feel really bad because whenever that happens, the market price always goes like through the roof, right? Because like it's so and Jamaican like in Jamaica, especially for the Rastafarians, like I really hope that they figure something out because if they, it's like it's a sacramental thing for them. It's a very important spiritual
right.
thing. So
Now,
like
Now, again, most of this is also on a black market scale, the stuff that
yeah,
people are
yeah.
growing themselves that the government doesn't mind that it happens, but
Well, it's probably yeah.
according to the so according to the government's cannabis licensing authority, which has authorized 29 cultivators and issued 73 licenses for transportation, retail, processing, and other activities, said there's no shortage of marijuana in the regulated industry, obviously,
Good.
but farmers and activists say weed sold via legal dispensaries, known as herb houses, is out of reach for many, given that it still costs 5 to 10 times more than pot on the street,
Well, yeah. I mean, that's
which
exactly it.
obviously some people can't
No,
afford
and
that. So obviously they're going to turn to the illegal stuff that their friend grows, but obviously their friend can't grow weed because
me, yeah,
hurricane
yeah.
rain, drought,
Yeah, and
rain.
me and a good friend of mine actually had a conversation about that a while back. Basically that like that's called like it's called subtle prohibition. And what it is that the government what it is that like cannabis we all know It was originally for like, prohibition was originally disenfranchise the poor and everything else, and more specifically Mexicans and black people and stuff. Like it was racist as hell and terrible when
Oh yeah,
those laws first came about, and still are to this day. Still are
unfortunate
to this
but
day.
factual.
Like still to this day. And
Yeah,
it was terrible, and but that's how it was, right? So when essentially it's a lot of the time what they'll do is they'll make something legal, but they'll price it in a way that the people that they essentially wanted to keep away from it through their overt racism will now be kept away
s-
through economic means because they make it unaffordable. So it's kind of like they're
and
like,
then
"Oh,
they're
you can
still
yeah,
breaking
they're
the
like,
law.
you can have as much weed as you want to have if you're willing to pay $15 a gram for it, every gram." Like on the like
Exactly.
you get 2 grams,
Minimum.
you pay you get 2 grams, you're getting $30 worth of weed, you know? And so like people are like, fuck that. I'm gonna buy it from my buddy that I've always bought it from. He's always been reliable, he's always been cool. I'm gonna do that. And then the cops come in and bust buddy and bust the other dude buying it, and they're like, oh, you guys are doing something terrible. And they're like, well, no, I can't afford to get it. And especially for like
Exactly.
Rastafarians and people who are, Rastafari, they have to have cannabis. It's part of
Correct.
their religion. So like
Exactly.
they gotta get it.
So hopefully Jamaica's weather subsides soon, and hopefully they can all figure out, or some of them start growing indoors. It all depends. But with all that being said, I hope Jamaica gets some rescue. If you guys feel sad, send them some weed.
100% hashtag
Or if you feel
send
really
Jamaica some
sad,
weed.
or if you feel really sad, send us
Yeah,
some weed.
hashtag
Hashtag give good
yeah,
buds weed.
hashtag send us some weed. No, that means
We would much appreciate
yeah,
that. But if you don't feel like doing that, you can also like, comment, subscribe, share with all your friends, do whatever you feel like.
absolutely
But
true.
this has been Weed News Worldwide.
Oh man, that was an absolutely awesome news segment, Curtis. I always love covering the different stories that we get all over the place. But I think before we get into the next section of the show, we should probably roll into an ad spot, shouldn't we?
I 100% agree with that.
All right, let's go.
Hey buds, you really want to show off your love of marijuana or just really shine at your next smoke session? You really want to go to myhighshop.com for some of the coolest cannabis clothing and accessories. They have shirts, sweats, jewelry, grinders, and even pipes made out of amethyst crystals. You can check them out using the link below and let them know I sent you by using code GoodBudsCurtis at checkout. You can save 35% off your entire order and free shipping. Again, that's code GoodBudsCurtis at checkout. Thank you to myhighshop.com, and let's get back to the show.
Oh man, seriously, my high shop's so cool. Curtis, yeah, that's great, man. So honestly, I gotta ask you, brother, now that we're at this beautiful portion of the show, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Um, I think the online reviews did not fail me on this one. I am in a very uh cerebrally. I'm speaking. I'm saying stuff. I'm thinking. I'm pretty
Your hand
focused.
talking?
I'm kind of doing the I'm doing the Vogue thing with my hands that nobody can see, and I'm not going to
I
animate it, so
can.
that's it.
Haha. If you guys subscribe to
Um,
us on YouTube and we get enough subscribers, you'll eventually be able to see it.
but anyway, I think it's a very nice strain overall. It's making me feel pretty good. I'm still relaxed, and yeah, I'm a little thirsty though, so I'm gonna take a sip of this. I'm gonna take a little hit real quick, and then but Shank, how are you? How are you feeling,
Man,
brother?
I am feeling absolutely magnificent. This weed is definitely it's not as focusing as I thought it was going to be. I'm still a little bit a little bit off to the side, but it feels good. Good energy, very high energy. I get what they mean by relaxed and high energy now. Like because like my body feels like and my eyes are like but I'm like bip pop pop pow. Like I feel like I could go to a speed bag and be like dicka 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 dicka, like just freaking go ham on it, right? So it's interesting. It's a good feeling.
He's also hand for everybody else. He's also hand
I am
talking.
a hand
To
talking.
fuck you.
Hand talking? No, I'm a hand. That's fine. I'm always a hand talker. Actually, if you guys were watching, if you subscribe enough, if enough of you people at an arbitrary number, you'll be able to see us eventually. But for now, you get to deal with these gorgeous animated visions of us on YouTube, or just, however you imagine us to sound. I'm feeling good though, Curtis, man. Overall, 100% beautiful today.
Very nice, very nice. Well, I believe it is time as always that we transfer to our final segment for the episode.
That's right, man. It's time
Let us get into the
interview. So today, buds, we're joined by motorcycle enthusiast, samurai rocker, and a longtime friend of mine, Pecos VoK, also known on the streets as Evan. Curtis wishes he could be here, but he was temporarily kidnapped by ninjas during the transition when they found out that we were going to be hanging out with a samurai today. He'll be back before you know it, guys. Evan, thanks for joining me on the podcast today, and how are you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me, Shenk. I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Oh man, if I was any better, there'd be two of me. I wish there was, but like I said, Curtis had to step out there, man. So I'm doing pretty good though. Fantastic. I'm really stoked to get you on the show. It's been a long time since we've managed to get together and chat, so I'm glad we can get together on here and chat for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, thanks for having me.
Hey, hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. So, I mean, obviously, one of the first questions that we always ask everybody here on the podcast is, we smoke weed here. Do you smoke weed, my friend? I already know, but I
usually
mean,
keep a
you can tell the
pretty
podcast.
constant, consistent, right. I keep a constant, consistent
Yeah.
cloud around my head most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, constant, consistent cloud of chronic. Yeah, I get you, brother. That's good though. So at this point, I'd like to offer you. You can take a hit with me as well. I got a bong packed here, ready to go. And if you wanted to take a hoot with me, man, we can take a hoot, and then we can get on
I'm
with the
gonna do
interview.
it. Yes, sir. I got my little.
Yes. And now,
Yeah.
if you folks at home can't see it here, but he has himself a very, very classy looking corncob pipe. You can probably see an animated version of it right now. In front of us, it's a nice little Sherlock style, old school pipe, and I'm loving the look. Yeah, it's so we'll take a hit. All right. So since Curtis isn't here to say it, I've got my lighter. You got your lighter. Let's toke 'em, boys. Toke skaboke.
Oh yeah, that good Bubba Kush.
Meanwhile, elsewhere.
I've been drinking green tea all goddamn day!
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Once again, I'm smoking on mimosa today. But yeah, man, that's a good hit. So you said you're smoking Bubba Kush.
Yes, sir.
I love Bubba Kush, man. It's a classic. It's a classic strain.
It does the trick. It most definitely does the trick.
Yeah, man. So obviously we go way back. The audience hasn't had much of an introduction to you. We've told them, just in passing, a few little teaser remarks. But I know, you're a big fan of music, obviously. Me and you go way back. We bonded very strongly over music back in the day.
No angst.
Mm-hmm. Sella Angst, man, and all those angsty, it's a high school teen band when it's got the word angst in the name, right?
Right? I recall you getting blamed
I know.
for a lot of things.
Oh man, well, yeah, they as a matter of fact, yeah, folks, for what he's referencing is there were actually T-shirts that said "I blame" and it had my first and last name on the T-shirts that were made up for the band that they would wear during shows and when they were, just in general when they were around town, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. Frankly, it was like, it was a blast. It was a good time. Obviously, Evan's still doing music. You're working on some projects right now, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm currently playing and performing in two original rock groups. One named Fort Wild, one named Three-Eyed Molly.
Excellent. That's great. Now I've heard some of your Fort Wild stuff, and I love it personally. There'll be some links below in the description to some of their stuff that they've already got uploaded down below. But I haven't heard anything from your new project yet. How's that coming along?
Well, it's come along quite nicely. I just got with these guys a few months ago, and things are starting to come together. We're gonna be getting in the studio again here shortly. We'd released a song shortly before Christmas. It was kind of a bit of a Christmas jingle, a little punk rock Christmas jingle. But yeah, it's definitely come together. It's a 5-piece original rock group, and same with Fort Wild though. We're just getting in the studio now too, right? So it seems like spread across my board. It's just
Oh, there's
studio time, studio time,
you're
studio
just gonna
time.
you're just gonna be yeah. No, honestly I know exactly how you feel, man. It's like when I'm not working, I'm in the studio or I'm in the office just working. And that's what you got to do for your mental health, right? During Corona and everything else. Like I mean, when you're not at work, you're cooped up inside or you're cooped up with a limited number of people, so you got to find something you can do, right?
Precisely.
Yeah, man. So I'm really looking forward to like seeing all the new music that you're coming out with, man. Like I'd say like everything you've come out with, it's like your music has progressed and progressed and progressed since high school, and it's settled into this really nice like classic rock kind of groove, and I love it, man. It suits your personality to a T.
Thank you very much. I
It really
appreciate
does. It
that.
really does. And
I'm just
your vocals are potent, man. This guy got a belting voice.
Thank you very much. No, I'm just really excited this time around because pretty much everything that I've released up until this date, I'd consider kind of demo quality, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
making the investment, and this is all going to be top studio put together. It's
Well
should be
mastered and yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
professional.
Like
Nice.
we've been in the NSCC studio and a studio in Halifax called the Workshop, and it's there. It's not just a little.
I've heard of the workshop actually. We can put a link to them below in the description too, actually. Like just fire a link down there for them as well, because I've heard of the workshop and that's cool that you're working with them.
Well, my
I like
buddy
that.
Italo Vidito, he's actually from Berwick. He's quite the musician himself. I'm having him put together Fort Wild's album there in between, the Workshop studio and the NSCC studio. And he also plays in the other group, Three Eyed Molly, right? So he does all of our stuff anyways, right?
Awesome. Yeah, no, and that's the best thing. It's a piece of advice for any musicians out there. If you're starting a band, it's really, really good idea to have someone in the band who's a sound guy. Just saying. And have another guy in the band who's really, really big and can carry heavy things with
You're
minimal
right.
effort. That's also a really good
100.
idea. Really good idea. So no, so that's fantastic. I'm really stoked that the music is going well for you, brother. Like I said, we're gonna have you on again. I wanted to mention this to the audience. We're gonna definitely have you on again in the future once you've got those recordings done, so that they can check them out as well as myself. Hell, I may even do like a Shenk Reacts special video for you, just for you. You put out that new song, Shenk Reacts, new release from you guys. I'll sit down, I'll do a video, I'll put my beautiful mask on my face. I don't know if you've seen it here. I'll hold it up to the camera for you so you can see. This is my face when I'm doing live streams.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that's my face when I'm doing live streams. So I'll put on my lovely face and I'll do a video for you where I react live to your new music.
Awesome. I'm excited.
And that'll be great, man. That'll be hella fun, dude. And so just to to branch off, because you are way more than just a musician, right? I said, samurai musician when I was introducing you. And that's because now, no joke, people, he's a samurai. Legit. Like not even like pretend. Like this dude, you give him a sword, you give him some friggin' bamboo armor, and this man would be indistinguishable from the real deal. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
All right. So since the age of 6 years old, I've been training on a martial art called Aikido. It's kind of a police tactics type martial art with a lot of reversal of energy and derived from ancient jujitsu techniques. I hold a second-degree black belt and a teaching license that's worldwide recognized and registered in Tokyo, Japan. I grew up with my father owning and teaching in schools, so kind of stuck with it.
Yeah. Yeah, just to interject there a little bit. Now, your dad is not a man to be trifled with. He's not now like if you see this guy, he's not really the tallest man on the planet, but he's one of those guys that you do not want to give him trouble at a bar because he will wreck you 5 ways from Sunday with like one hand. It's wild. I've seen videos of him tossing Evan around like a rag doll, and it's like it's wild, dude. And that's crazy that you've been doing that for so long now. That is the martial art where you like, like if someone's running at you, you basically just kind of like turn to the side and you're all like, like you're like, hell no.
Well,
Like,
there's
like
definitely a lot of
take that shit home.
leverage involved, along with kind of, letting their
Very
energy
physics
pass
based.
you whilst putting your energy behind it. A lot of it's kinesiology. A lot of martial arts is with certain positions where you get the most strength out of all your muscles. A lot of it's just straight up
Yeah,
body science, right? But then at the same
absolutely. I
time,
know.
if
I
you're
took some when I was
looking
younger, but
to excel in, yeah, but like
yeah,
at the same
yeah. I
time,
never
you're
stuck
going
with it
to,
like you though,
if
man.
you
Like,
want to
yeah.
well, if you want to excel in combat, then I don't suggest martial arts. I suggest go out and get in a fight and then join some boxing or something. You know what I mean? But
Well, that's why
at the
MMA
same
has become
time,
so popular, right? Because MMA takes like the bits and pieces from each one that kind of all apply to different like situations. Like it's
more
a situational
strategies
fighting
or
style or
whatever.
whatever. So yeah,
That's why
so you're
I
kind of like,
spent.
oh, so I'm facing punches, so I got to do this, or I'm facing groundwork, so I got to do this.
Yeah, and then a lot of them just have different training methods where a lot of the MMA is just go in and fight, right? And they all got their
Yeah,
rules,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's why I liked a lot of the Japanese jiu-jitsu
yeah.
I
But
did, because there wasn't, like, it was all light sparring, but there was no holds barred, you know what I mean? Because like
just do
after,
whatever you need to do.
yeah, because like I've done the Aikido. I've got probably near 15 years on the mats, my second dan, like I said, but there was a year and a bit there that I was training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, Kempo Karate, along with my Aikido. I was doing like 4 or 5 classes a week. And then, growing up, I
Wow.
trained with Brandon Owen for years, and he's gold medalist wrestler, right? So,
Yeah, but well, Bowen actually, we hope to get him. We've been trying to get him on the podcast as well. He's a very very busy man. He's got obviously a lot of awesome stuff going on
oh
in his
yeah,
life
oh
right now
yeah.
too. So we've been trying to get him on the show, but he's a busy man. So hopefully soon he'll be able to get on the show. But I'm so stoked because speaking of Bowen, now that you bring up Bowen and his like you said, he's a wrestler. This guy, like he can pin a grizzly bear.
It's
And
true.
he's like 3 foot nothing. Like, but and like one of the best people I know. But anyway, so speaking of Bowen, that ties back to the VOK. The VOK. I gotta mention the VOK. You're on here. It's in your name, right? So I gotta
Yeah.
mention it. Now the VOK, I'll give a bit of background on this. The VOK is a movement from where I live. Like it's from like one of my hometowns of a bunch of young people who were like, just kind of milling about back, we had some access to smartphones and some access to the internet, but we weren't as interested in it. And so, we'd be out making music or out like, doing random shit around the town that we probably shouldn't be fucking doing. And, we'd be yelling out VOK all day, right? So now Evan I won't say was. Evan is a massive supporter of VOK and the people behind it and the family it represents. Am I
Yeah,
right?
you are 100% right. Me and Brandon Owen and Nick Ryan, a few of them cool cats, we all got together. We were just a bunch of lost boys, right? And we all came together playing music or
Crazy kids
skateboarding or partying or whatever we did. And we just were friends and
running
had each
through the
other's
woods.
back, and we were family. And we just always did our thing. And we, no matter how rough times got or how much beef we had between each other, we'd always still look after one another and come back, right? So it's more than just a
Red
movement.
100.
It's family too, right?
You're right. It's a you're right. It is a family, and that's an important word to use there because I mean, and that's the thing too is the what I think is the coolest thing about it though is that the like VOK has accomplished some like people have done some bitchin' things in the name of VOK, you know, like it's like when Brandon was on stage accepting awards, he's thanked VOK, you know, when you know you've done your music, you know, the VOK has been behind you 100%. Your job, your moves, like all the shit you've done, man, like and that's exactly it, like seeing the people all these years, because it's been, you know, I mean, we're getting old, man, we're getting old now, so it's
Yeah,
been
that's
years
it's
since
so
high
sick,
school,
so
and
seven.
you're still together. You're still together, right? So I'm loving that, man. And I think it's fantastic, like, you know, and like I said, I want to get Brandon on here. I want to get Bowen on here if possible. Talk to him about his music as well, because just like yourself, the music is stuck with you guys, man.
100%.
Never left.
Fucking A.
Meanwhile, elsewhere.
How does he have more katanas than us?
Never left. Never left. No. On a topic to digress to a different topic, like branch off Peter Patter and work our way over. A topic that our fans would be hugely interested in. We actually just kind of touched on it a little bit before we started recording, but you're a big fan of this cannabis, aren't you?
I'm a big fan. More than most may know. I used to grow a lot of weed back in the day.
Right. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Whether
That's true, and it's hey, we always like to say that anything that we do is entirely legal, whether it was legal or not at the time.
precisely.
But so no, that's fantastic, man. So obviously right now he's got a big old sack of Bubba Kush there with him, which is looks beautiful.
A
Through
good
the
friend of
camera
mine in
here,
the
from what I
valley
can see, it
down
looks
there.
gorgeous. There you go, good friend down in the valley. It's a he. See, that's the thing. He grew it. He got it from we like to call them what is it, micro grows. You know, it sounds fancy. You know, because fucking, like, you know, people always like kind of say, they're like, oh, there's black market weed and there's the regular weed, and I'm like, yeah, but why don't we start calling like black market weed that was like grown by our buddies and stuff like that? Like they call craft beer when you brew it at home. You're like, I'm brewing some craft beer, right? So I don't, we like, it's like, it's not black market weed, it's craft weed.
Yeah, straight up.
Right. Yeah.
I think that
I think
there's
cannabis,
part
you
of me
know,
that's like, I feel like the difference between that though is, you know, licensing and whether taxes are being paid or not though.
oh, yeah. Well, that's why you don't sell it, and make sure, you know, if we get any weed for the podcast and stuff like that, you know, it's either through purely legal transactional purchases, which is important. Follow the law.
Very
We do believe
important.
the government should grant more license. We do believe the government should grant more licenses so that, you know, like more retailers can open up, and I fully support, like, you know, privatized retail for it. I think
Oh,
that if a company
100%.
wants to start a weed store, they should be allowed
Yes.
to. But right now, as the law stands, we'll follow it, no problem. But when when I get weed from like my buddies and stuff, it's not a monetary
If my
trading
friend
of
gives me a
goods kind of
bag of
thing, right?
weed, then he gives me a bag of weed.
Yeah, he's
There ain't
giving me
no
a bag of weed.
rule
It's a
against
gift.
that,
You're allowed
man.
to
If
gift
my
weed.
friends are allowed to
Yeah, there's
grow,
no rule against.
yeah, they're allowed to grow weed in their backyard and give me a bag of it when it's done if they want to. There ain't no law against that.
Absolutely. Well, as a matter of fact, they're following the law by doing that, because if they grow their plant and they're only allowed to have so much weed, and their plant produces more than that, or their plants produce more than that, then they're like, oh no, now I have an illegal amount of weed. I need to get rid of
They
some.
just got to give me less than
You know?
30 grams at
So
a time.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So they're just like, here's 29.9
Yeah,
grams. There
take
you
that home.
go.
Yeah.
Take that home. Come back again later this
Please.
afternoon. I'll send you home with
Yeah.
another one. But that's magnificent, man. So yeah, so you put a lot of effort into growing your, man, like, and yeah, and obviously you smoke a lot. It's I know back, geez, man, back he could keep up with me when we were younger, and I mean I was already a prolific smoker by the time that I think, you know, everyone was like getting into it and stuff. I smoked a little bit already, but with like no time at all, because like I've always known you to be the kind of person you go hard into whatever you're doing, man. Like if you're gonna do something, you're like, I'm doing it, you know? And that's a friggin' admirable trait for people to have. And you had that with cannabis too, though. Like, you know, like most people kind of approach cannabis with some form of kind of like caution or some form of, you know, like kind of like, okay, I'm not uncertainty, right? But I still remember a situation where like I think you would just start, I mean, it was at the skate park, I believe, in Greenwood, way back in the day. And like they were gonna smoke a fat joint, and like and you were looking like you were gonna fucking green out. You were looking unhappy. You were just sitting there and you were like not 100% clearly, right? And it was clearly because of the weed, because like it had been going around for a while, and like, you know, you were like, all right, man, I think I've had enough. But every fucking time that joint came around to you, you were like, yeah. You like grabbed it like a champ, man. Took a puff, passed it to the next guy. And I was like, and I was watching you. I remember watching you, and I was like, all right, man. I was like, yeah, this guy. I was like, all right, yeah, that's. I was like, this guy. And so
Yeah,
it was
definitely come a
hilarious
long
though,
way from
because
that.
you just kept fucking, and you never even like, but dude, you like when I thought, every time I looked at you and I thought, man, this is it. He's going over, man. He's going over. Like you'd be like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, holy crap, man. I'm like, dude, I'm like, I've never seen somebody fight through a green out with sheer willpower before that moment. And that was you.
I just
And
wanted
that
to
was you.
keep smoking the
Like,
tasty buds, man.
I know, man. And I'm like that to this day. I'm like that to this day. Like there are times when I'm like, I'll put it, it's like, you know, when you're browsing Facebook and then you close it and you immediately open Facebook again instead of like something else. Like you're like, okay, I'm done on Facebook, and you're like close Facebook, and then you like put your phone down, and like 2 seconds later you pick up your phone and open Facebook and start browsing again.
Yeah, it
Like
happens.
forgetting that you just, you know, yeah, I'm like that with weed. I'll like put a joint out and I'll be like, you know, sitting there for a couple minutes and be like, man, I want to smoke a joint. Like, you know,
Straight
like
up, why not?
it's like I just smoked one, dude. You don't need to smoke another joint. It's like, but
Tastes so good.
I enjoy it so much. And not to mention, technically, I get paid for it now in a roundabout way. So, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I don't get paid by any weed companies though. If there's any weed companies out there listening right now that would like to hit me up for a sponsorship, just saying.
Straight up.
And I yeah, and I would like to take a moment, just during this pause to remind the audience, if they could, to like, comment, subscribe, share this with all of your friends. Like just, you know, wherever you're viewing this on YouTube or whatever, just click the follow button or whatever, click the subscribe button. And if you don't want to watch us anymore, just ignore us when we pop up on your newsfeed. It's really not that annoying, and it helps us out big time. Like really appreciate it if you could do that. And also like click on Evan's links that I'm gonna fire down there in the description and subscribe to his ass, because he deserves the views. Yeah, man. So that stupid advertisement stuff out of the way, for my liking, commenting, and subscribing. I know that like, you know, like you're like musician, samurai, friggin' like weed aficionado, and you also ride a motorcycle. Like, why haven't they made a fucking movie about you yet?
I don't know. That's a. I'm sure there's like a few movies that are close.
Like Rebel Without a Cause. No, yeah, man, well, like, who do I have to call? Like, who do I have to pitch this to? If I was like, all right, I got a movie, and they'd be like, all right, what's up? They'd be like, it's about a dude. They'd be like, all right. I'm like, he rides a motorcycle. They'd be like, all right, he gets
Not just a
points.
motorcycle.
I'm like,
Harley Davidson motorcycle.
he
Not
rides
just a motorcycle.
a fucking Harley Davidson, not just a motorcycle, but the motorcycle. It's that or a Honda Teddy. So he rides the motorcycle, like, you know, like the typical, so branding, I mean, you got the marketing right there. Now get this. All right. Now he's also, he plays like rock and shreds on guitar. He plays guitar and shit. He's like a fucking, well, that's awesome. Sounds like a badass. Okay, cool. So the movie's about this guy. Now, he's also a samurai. All right. All right, sweet. That's awesome. We can have some sword fights. We can have some fucking like, some like wicked Aikido action. We can have some Seven Ronin. Like, we can get that like wushu shit going on. Like, I'm down. I'm down. Like, and then you're like, all right, and he smokes a bunch of weed. And they're like, whoa, we'll sign up fucking
Whoa.
get James Franco on the phone. Get James
Yeah.
Franco on the phone. This motherfucker. And seriously, if I was gonna get anybody to play you, I'd probably say James Franco too.
Oh, I like James Franco, man. 100%.
Yeah, man. No, if I had to pick somebody to play you, I'd be like, all right, can somebody call James Franco? Is he busy right now?
Straight up. I
Like,
dig it.
For sure.
Fucking
For
A.
sure. Evan the movie. Pecos VoK. Coming to a theater near you. Actually, no, wait, Rona. Not coming to a theater near you. Coming to an online streaming platform near
Yeah,
you.
straight up.
Man, I wonder if the movie voice guy is having a hard time adjusting to that. Because, before he always used to say, coming to a theater near you. Now he needs to be like, coming to a streaming platform
know,
near
right?
you. It's like, and he probably gets in the studio and he gets behind the mic. He's like, all right, roll it, John, roll it. Coming to a theater near.
I
Damn it.
know. He
Oh,
probably
run it
goes
back,
home,
run it
right,
back.
stressed out, has 2 extra drinks of whiskey than normal.
Slaps down 2 extra drinks of whiskey, lights his cigar to keep his movie man voice nice and gravelly
And to hold himself
and
together.
smokes a big old smokes a big
Yeah,
old
you
blunt.
gotta have a blunt. That's just expected.
Hell yeah, man! That's speaking of that's true, man. That's true, and like I love rolling blunts. And speaking of which, that's a really good time for me to say I'm gonna plug our Instagram here, guys. Go check out the Good Buds podcast on Instagram, and you will see some awesome pictures of our weed and stuff and memes and stuff. Go check out my personal Instagram at Shenk. I post all kinds of pictures of me smoking blunts or just staring at the camera with my mask on, and so you can see my beautiful face. And go check out Curtis over at Good Buds Curtis. I'm sure you would want me to tell you that he takes massive bong rips over there that are legendary. Like, dude once took like 4 bong hoots in a row of like 4 different strains of weed without dying, and I was impressed. So check it out. Instagram, Good Buds Podcast, Good Buds Curtis, Good Buds Shank. Click that follow button. I will love you forever, and Curtis may or may not give you the password to his OnlyFans. All right. So once again, that other shameless plug for our social media is out of the way. So you ride a Harley, man. So how long have you been riding a bike?
Oh, I was riding dirt bikes when I was a teenager and stuff, right?
Yeah. So just evolved over time.
Yeah.
Turned
Well,
into a step up.
grew up with dad riding the Harleys, right? So it's kind of imprinted on me.
It's so true, man. I always remember, like, even during high school, you were always like, man, like, you had the leather jacket, like, and as a matter of fact, if you folks are watching this on YouTube right now, you're gonna see him sitting there in an animated version, and Curtis made sure to put a leather jacket on his character because I was like, no, he did, yeah, he did, because I was like, it's one of those things where I was like, yeah, man, like, it's just, you got to do it. It'll suit the character really well. So he did. He even put the plugged ear and everything like that. Nice. So like he made it look. To me, I think it looks great, man. It looks awesome. And you guys should be checking that out. And if you're on our YouTube right now, subscribe. If not, there's a link down there. You can click on it, check it out. Hit the little bell icon too. Everybody on their videos keeps saying something about a bell. Click it, you'll get notifications. Awesome. So yeah, man, you've been riding. Your dad's been riding all his life. You've been riding since you were a teenager, man. That's fucking great. I know, like, I used to ride a little bit, like, there for a moment, but it was ill-advised for me. It's just not my cup of tea. But I will always ride. I will always ride the bitch seat, though, man. I don't mind. I don't mind, brother. Like, if someone's like, "Hey, man, I got a bike," and like, you want to go to the store? I remember that, man. I was friggin' when I went on social media and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Evan, I hope you're okay. Oh my God." I was like, first of all, if he's posting anything, he's fucking tanked it. He's fine. I was like, he's okay. I was like, he's all right. Like, I was like, the moment that you posted about it and you were talking about it, I was like, he's fine. I was like, he's probably beat up and he's probably in a bit of pain, but I was like, my boy's all right. Like, it wasn't someone else posting saying Evan got in an accident.
Yeah.
If that happened, I'd be like, I need to call the boys. Like, I'd be like, you know, that kind of thing. But like, you know, but when you posted and you were like, yeah, man, like I got banged up. Was it a van?
Yeah,
that
van
you-
hit me when I was on a bike, but I don't even remember making those posts. I don't remember anything until about 10 or 11 days after I woke up. Because I had been in induced coma for a few days, and then I didn't remember. I had to go through my Facebook, and I was like, I don't remember posting any of these things. I was calling the same people every day and saying the exact same thing for like,
Oh, no
yeah.
doubt, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You took a huge blow, man. You
Well, I
took a
lived in
huge
that
hit.
rehab
Like
hospital for
fucking
like a month, right? So it was
yeah,
bullshit,
dude.
but
Yeah.
what do you do, right?
Well, for sure. But look at you now, man. You're friggin' up. You're moving. You're still, you know, like you like had a solid recovery. Like holy shit, dude. Like I mean, but when like I knew you were all right, man. Like I was like, dude, it's like I was like, if he's still active
Uh,
after getting hit, like you were just like I in my head I had a picture of you like basically like I had a picture in my head. I'm sure it's not at all how it went down, but like you pulling out and like the fucking van coming out and being like poof, and like hitting your bike and your bike crumpling a bit, but then it like hits your shin and fucking like the van's like like stops like fucking you know, like the bike crumples a little bit, but then it hits you and it's like fuck,
oh man,
like
that'd
can't
be
do it.
funny.
And I was like, and like I just had that picture in my head, and I was like, all right, he's gonna be fine, right? But I
Oh
was
god.
worried for a minute. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried for a minute, and that you know, like obviously, when any of your friends get in any kind of an accident, and having lost some friends, we've both lost
Yeah,
some friends in the past. You know, it's something you worry about every now and
straight up.
then, and so like you know, I was worried for a minute, but then I was like, all right, he's gonna be fine. He's fucking gonna be banged up, gonna be banged up. But when you were like, oh yeah, I gotta go through recovery, I gotta go through rehab, I was like, his dad's been busting his ass to like work out and train and everything his whole fucking life. Like it's gonna be any different for 1 month, some other fucking person busting his ass to work out, right? I'm like, you know, it's like really like it's just instead of his dad being there to be like fucking you gotta train, you gotta get up, you gotta like work those fucking legs, you gotta do this shit, do that shit. It's just a physiotherapist there doing the same damn
Right,
thing.
except easier. It's like a little vacation.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're like, they were like, oh man, Evan, you're taking this really well. You're like, yeah, you should fucking see what my dad does every day. Like, yeah, but no, like, but your dad's like I have nothing but mad respect for your dad. You know, like he's a like you know he's a tough man, but he's like he obviously like you and him are very close.
Oh yeah, he's my best friend.
Fucking, you know, like yeah, like when you see you two standing next to each other, like you can tell like he's an awesome guy. Like it's seriously, and when I say this guy's a badass in his own right. Like I did like, you know, like he's got it. Like he's an awesome dude, good guy. He's been doing Aikido since well before you were born, before either of us were probably born. And how long has he been doing
Oh
it?
god, like 25, 30 years or something like that. But you know, he's
Oh yeah, so probably he probably started when I was born. He probably started
uh,
doing Aikido when I was born,
and
which is
he's
wild.
always been, you know, quite involved within the community and stuff. He's definitely done quite a few good things around the community. Not not just a
Yeah, and
badass,
that's
but like a
yeah.
badass community guy
No, it's
too.
true. No, no,
Yeah,
and that's what I mean too. Yeah, that's what I mean too. Like that's why I say I've got nothing like mad respect
straight
for him,
up.
and I don't mean fear of
Oh
respect.
no,
I mean like
I
admiration
understood what you
respect,
meant.
right?
Yeah,
Like yeah, respect to me means like you know like it's like a human to human thing. Like I don't do the like authoritative respect. I'm not a fan of that, right?
no,
Authoritative respect isn't my cup of tea. I like you know human respect, and like and your dad like he deserves respect because he's a good community member, an awesome guy, you know, like badass dude. Like I mean, he's badass enough. Like I mean, in general,
yeah.
like you know, arm wrestling, Spetsnaz kind of shit. But he also, you know, like give teddy bears to kids kind of shit. So it's
Straight
like
up.
you know, he's got the full spectrum, just like yourself. You know, you're not just motorcycles and samurais and guitars and motorcycles. You're a good bud, man.
Try to be
You
happy.
are going back.
Try to be cool.
Yeah, you treat your friends. You treat your friends well. You treat your friends well. You support what they're doing. Like, and I like we're running out of time here. It appears for the interview. And like you know, just speaking of supporting friends, I would once again love to thank you so much for being on the podcast
Yeah,
today,
thanks
man.
for having me, man. It's been a blast. Can't wait to be on again, brother.
Meanwhile, elsewhere.
I know it's been absolutely fantastic. Next time you come here, next time you come on, Curtis will be here. He, like I said, looks very much forward to meeting you. He apologizes profusely for not
It's
being
okay.
here. But yeah, man. Next time you get to meet him, he's like, dude, you'll love the guy. He's fantastic. Great
Awesome.
dude. Great dude, and he'll love you, I'm sure. I'm sure. But before we go, I would love to. I just got to shout out our sponsors. We got lumenspot.com and myhighshop.com. If our people out there listening want to go down to the link below in the description, check them out. Use the code goodbuds podcast on lumenspot.com for 50% off, and use the code goodbudscurtis on myhighshop.com for 35% off. So it'll be good deal. You get some good stuff, and it'll help out the podcast. So that would be great. And Evan, do you have anything you would like to plug before I let you go, man?
I don't want to plug anything, man. I'm gonna keep her humble this time around, man. I'm gonna have all kinds of stuff in your face when I got that music together, brother. Though I
Oh, yeah,
promise.
brother. Yeah, next time he is on the show, he is going to be a plug machine. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna figure out a way for us to try to like listen to the track on the podcast if we
I
can
got
do
one
it.
thing I can say though. Yeah, the
I'm
riding
all
season.
ears.
Yeah, the riding season's coming up, so look out for bikers, please.
Yes, the riding season is coming up, so keep your head up for bikers. The motorcycles are loud for a reason. It's so your dumbasses will notice them on the road, okay?
Hey.
So just pay attention. Biking season is coming up. That is a very good thing to plug. Yeah, like there'll be so next time he comes on the show, there'll be some awesome links for you. Like we'll plug the hell out of all your stuff, man. It's gonna be great. Thank you once again. Thank you once again for coming on the show, man. And I will talk to you again very soon.
Sounds good. Have a great day, brother.
You too, brother. Oh man. Guess I'm alone now. I miss Curtis. I wonder where.
Did I miss the interview?
Oh, hey,
Here,
whoa,
here.
man. You got away from the ninjas, all right?
Yeah, everything's fine. Did I make
no,
it for the
man,
interview?
He already was here. He said he
Fuck!
I know it sucks, man. I was pretty upset. He was upset too, though. It was awesome.
This is such an
I know, man.
inconvenience.
Those ninjas are getting crafty.
God damn it! Yeah, they lured me with Starbucks frappuccinos this time. They know I'm a
They're
white bitch for
learning. Oh my god, that's crazy.
damn
Oh man,
crafty bastard.
yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, dude. So we had a great interview. Me and Evan had a wonderful time. He did miss you. He said next time he comes on the show, he can't wait to meet you. Had nothing but good things to say about the episodes he's heard so far, and he's excited to be back with us again, right? But yeah, man. So
I'm sorry, Shenk.
it's
I
okay,
missed
brother.
it.
Don't feel bad.
It's
Don't
okay.
feel bad. It's okay, man. I understand. Sometimes ninjas happen, dude. That's I mean.
Yeah, and sometimes
Yeah,
they
did
don't
you-
happen.
Did you remember?
But I think
Oh.
we're running short on. I think we're running short on time
Yeah.
for this episode. So before we go, you
I
still
got
got
a
a
bong
bong
pack
pack?
right here, homie.
Okay, well it looks like mine's still packed, so I'm gonna take a little hit.
Yeah,
now. You wanna
Cardboard
join me?
Curtis wasn't nearly as entertaining as you, but he did make one joke that kind of got me laughing a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
All right. I got a bong. I'm ready to go.
But
Yeah.
anyway, bros, you guys know the drill. Lighters out. Let's blaze it real quick.
Whew.
Oh.
Awesome, buds. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. It's been wonderful smoking with you. This has been MMMOSA from me.
And it has been Orange Crush
And before we
from
sign
me.
up, yeah.
This is
Oh,
a
yeah.
great strain, and we will roll
Yeah.
one for the road.
Yeah,
We'll see
before
you
we
all
sign
next
off, I'd
week.
love to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with all of your friends everywhere, all over the internet that you can think of. Any possible location, any like helps. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Even ninjas.
I guess ninjas too.
We need
But
them
hey,
too.
it's
Sorry about your friends.
it is what it is. It is what it is. I guess they're the crazy.
Exactly. And it's a lot
I
less
guess they're the
ninjas in
crazy
the world.
33 now.
Later, buds.
Later, buds.
Ew.